Politics is a very dirty game. It reminds me of the advice that was given to our Kenyan politicians by the then governor of Uasin Gishu, who is now the senator of Uasin Gishu, Honorable Jackson Mandago, who one day advised William Ruto that in matters politics, don't harbor them close to your heart because you will be hurt. Before you venture into politics, you need to go and get a resilient heart, because without that, you cannot make it. Raila Amolo Odinga shared his photos with, I don't know whether he still refers to her as the rogue ambassador, Meg Whitman, or he has sanitized her. And in the photos, Raila didn't say much. Raila simply said that we hosted the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, this morning. We discussed a range of issues, including the flood emergency and assistance efforts in the country, US investments in Kenya, and my candidature for the African Union Commission chairmanship. That is Raila Amolo Odinga. And when you go to the Twitter handle of Ambassador Meg Whitman, Meg shares the same photos with Raila Amolo Odinga, and she says, I was delighted to spend time today with the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga to discuss the value of democracy and the future of US-Kenya relations. Very many Kenyans are tight-lipped. They don't know what to say about this meeting. This meeting is coming at a time when Ruto has been given a honorary invitation, and I think he's going to give one of the keynote speeches in the USA. It is also coming at a time when Azimio supporters are wondering whether Raila Amolo Odinga will go for the presidency in 2027. But the comment that I read are coming from people who are not very happy, because seeing Raila Amolo Odinga and Meg Whitman is like seeing the late Osama bin Laden and George Bush shaking hands. Let us have a few reasons why Kenyans are very angry at this handshake, if I may call it. Number one, Ambassador Meg Whitman spent time in the 2022 elections. During the tallying and verification process in Bomas, as I've always indicated, that has never been seen before, because diplomats and ambassadors will always wait for the day when there will be declaration of results. But Meg Whitman was there, and she ensured that she procured victory to William Samoei Ruto. She was the conduit that was conveying the messages to William Ruto, to Madam Koome, and to Wafula Chebukati. And if you want to know why Chebukati has always been stubborn and obstinate, it is because of the powers of Ambassador Meg Whitman, because she represents the USA, she represents Joe Biden, and she robbed Raila of his victory in broad daylight. As if that was not enough, Ambassador Meg Whitman was not apologetic. In fact, at the height of tension, when Raila looked to be looking for the truth, the ambassador maintained that in the history of Kenya, the 2022 election was the freest and the most verifiable election that has ever taken place in Kenya. And to that, Raila did not take the words kindly, and Raila told her off. And Raila called her the rogue ambassador. In fact, Raila reminded her that Kenya is not a colony of the USA. During the same moment, Azimio supporters were being massacred on the streets, live bullets being retrieved from their homes and being killed. And the USA kept on talking about democracy, but they never uttered a word against the atrocities that were being meted on Raila's supporters. Other bodies talked, but US or Meg Whitman did not say anything. And so people are wondering what exactly happened. At the center of the tension, Meg Whitman led Chris Coons when they brokered a deal between Raila and William Samoei Ruto, as Chris Coons had done in 2017. And very fast, they rolled out a plan that there was going to be some kind of talk between Raila team and William Ruto team, the team that was, having discussion in Bomas, led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Kimani Ichung'wah. So people are wondering, how comes Raila forgave Ambassador Meg Whitman very easily like that? People have died, they robbed Raila of his victory, and people are wondering what exactly happened. And when I looked at this picture, I understand that they're the ones who brokered that peace, and they kind of forced them to have a dialogue. William Ruto was not ready for it, and I know Raila was not ready for it. He was under a lot of pressure. And in this video, I don't even want to look at the reasons why they met. I only want to look at two things. Number one, being Raila Amolo Odinga is the most difficult thing that one can ever think. Because from where we sit, we are wondering, was it that easy for Raila to bow down? Do you think, because I know one or two people might have gone there to vote, and if there is a vote that was stolen, it is your vote, just one vote that was stolen. For Raila, all those 1 plus 2 plus 3 votes add up to millions of votes. And so he cries foul of millions of votes that were stolen. Yet Raila still has the heart to accommodate someone he knows very well stole his victory, because Raila, during the launch of a book by Odinga, who is the chief executive of ODM, Raila did not mince his words. He said that the USA robbed him of his victory. I have always said that if there is one thing that has blocked Raila from being a president in this country, it is his nature of being magnanimous. And you've seen it again today. Some call it weakness. Because if you look at African politics, it has got no room for magnanimity. Raila today has a handshake with Meg Whitman. He has forgiven William Samoei Ruto. He worked with Uhuru Kenyatta after robbing him of his victory. Worked with Mwai Kibaki after robbing him of his victory. Worked with Moi after detaining him for years. And it tells your proof that Raila is very magnanimous. He's got that big heart to accommodate competitors and enemies. Others have always accused Raila, and it is a very dangerous kind of trait, because others have accused him of getting something out of politics for him to be, to forgive those who have robbed his victory. But with that as it may, those are mere allegations, I don't know. But Raila has got a heart that I don't think we have. I'm imagining if it was William Ruto who had been robbed of his victory, and then Ambassador Meg Whitman is calling to pay a courtesy call. Maybe Shingo Upande, but he wouldn't be very, very happy. So as it is, I think Raila has forgiven William Ruto and Raila has forgiven Meg Whitman. That is who Raila is. And if you ask me without mincing any words, I don't think Raila will ever be a president in this country. He will win. And I'm thinking that even if he contests again, he will still win. But Raila will never be the president. There is a difference between winning and being declared the winner. Those are two different things. One thing that worries me in all this, because it is difficult to find a man of the caliber of Raila Odinga. If Raila retires from politics today, then we don't have any other tough person. Yes, we have people like Babu Owino, Joe, and all that, but to get someone who is as strong as Raila will be very difficult. And the reason why it worries me is I have realized that USA will continue to install leaders for us unless we rise up and we resist them. Because I never imagined that Raila would wake up, someday after declaring that Meg Whitman is a rogue ambassador, and they shake hands. And this meeting did not take part in Meg Whitman's office, but Raila's office, which is very significant. She came to Raila. And this idea of calling Raila statesman has really cost him a lot. Before the declaration of results in 2022, the Secretary General of the UN called Raila, and Raila reported that they discussed peace within the neighborhood and that he was not going to unleash his supporters. He was waiting for the declaration from the Supreme Court. Being a statesman and being magnanimous is something that has really cost Raila. Because when you know that your victory is stolen, you need to go for it. Miguna said it in 2017 that Raila won, but he stared as his victory went to Uhuruto. In 2007, the same Ruto said Raila won and they wanted Raila to go and be sworn so that they could even divide the country. But Raila, in his usual manner, was compromised, was prevailed upon. So US will continue to decide who becomes the president. This is the reality. Unless Kenyans wake up and resist and say that we are not going to allow, we are an independent country, we need to exercise our autonomy. And from what has happened, it is very clear that it is the US that persuaded Raila to go for the African Union Commission chairperson so that they remove him from the local politics so that William Ruto can do whatever he wants. And this is very painful to me. Because even if Raila will come back, is there anything new that he will do to become a president? He will win. But he will not be declared unless Kenyans resist, unless we have an election such as the one that happened in 2002. Now, the other thing that pains me in all this, if it is the USA that persuaded Raila or prevailed upon him to go and contest for the African Union Commission chairmanship, then it means that even the AU is not independent. It cannot be independent if it is still being funded by the USA and China and all this. Because for them to persuade Raila to go for it, it means they have got some influence in it. So you can imagine that we are not independent at our individual nations. And then as a group of nations, as African Union, we are also not very independent, that USA can determine who to contest and who to be given that seat. That is how painful it is. And if it is true that the US is the one that persuaded Raila to go for the AU seat and they will ensure that he wins, how will Raila carry on with this work, knowing very well that I have been given this seat by the AU? William Ruto has been given a seat, by the US. William Ruto has been given the same seat, and you can see he's working for the interest of the USA. No wonder we say, cry, my beloved country, cry, weep, my beloved continent, weep, because it seems we are still a doomed continent. We are a doomed nation until we wake up. When Gaddafi talks about unity, the next moment is no more. When Magufuli talks about unity and independence and autonomy, the next minute is no more. When Museveni says no to LGBTQ, they withdraw funds. You must be a Ruto for you to dance along. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but some Azimio supporters are very angry at Raila Odinga, even though others say that it's not very easy to resist when Meg Whitman says, I will pay a courtesy call. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.